These are hot favourites to do the same at rugby.
Who's interspersed? This is the Bledisloe Cup showdown. The Bledisloe Cup has been contested 27 times over the last 54 years, and Australia has won it on only 5 occasions. But Australia is the holder, having won the series by 2-1 last year in New Zealand. And there's Michael Jones, the star player in the World Cup tournament. In New Zealand, he's known as Never on Sunday because of his religious beliefs. Standing by now for the anthems. And a big moment for Stephen James, playing on his home ground. He was the ball boy here at Concord Oval, and here he is now in his first full test match. With me this afternoon, Mark Ella, and also Australia's most capped player, Simon Bevan, will be coming to them shortly. So David Kirk, captaining New Zealand to their World Cup victory by 29-9 over France at Eden Park just 5 weeks ago. This area here near the touchline will be very spongy, and it's going to be quite heavy there. And Mark Ella, I believe you were speaking to David Campese, and that was something that was going to worry him.
Well, down that particularly that sideline where we're looking at now, particularly in the shaded area, David was saying it's still very, very boggy, and he'll know all about it because that's the side he'll be running on.
So we are still waiting for the anthems. God defend New Zealand, and now advance Australia fair. So let's look at the New Zealand side. It's the same one that took out the inaugural World Cup at Eden Park 5 weeks ago. The team is led by David Kirk at halfback, who makes his swan song as he's off to Oxford. Grant Fox and John Kirwan are both match winners in the backs. The powerhouse pack ranks with the best. Strong, mobile, skillful and fit. And the back row of Jones, Wetton and Shelford has been without peer this year. 180 test caps in all, and 99 of those in the backs. And now the Governor of New South Wales, Sir James Rowland, will meet the New Zealand side firstly, and this is a chance to bring in Mark Ella and Simon Bevan. And what a moment it is here, Mark. Great atmosphere.
Well, it certainly is, Gordon, and you said right at the start that there were a number of New Zealanders around. I can't believe that it's 50-50. It's more like 75% New Zealanders and 25% Australians, but it's a fantastic occasion. It's going to be a great match, and I think Australia can really do it.
And it's a sad moment too, in one sense, because sitting alongside us is Simon Poidevin, who made his test debut against New Zealand at the Sydney Cricket Ground in 1980, Australia's most capped player, 46 tests. He's played against New Zealand more times than any other player in history, and unfortunately he's sitting up here in the commentary box, but he's still smiling. Simon, what a moment.
It's certainly different to be on this side of the fence. It's very interesting today. The atmosphere here is great. The Australian side didn't go out to warm up today. They stayed in the dressing room, which is very unusual. Haven't done that for the last 5 years, so it should be a very fiery start, I'd say.
Okay, let's look at the Australian side now. Wholesale changes to the team beaten by Wales in the World Cup at Rotorua. Gone are Australia's most capped players, the captain and vice-captain, Andy Slack and Simon Poidevin. 7 alterations have been made, with Michael Hawker recalled from the wilderness after a 3-year absence. He's the new vice-captain, while David Cody, the first Australian to be sent off in a test match, is the captain. 6 of the Grand Slam forwards involved. Stephen James makes his full debut, and Mark Ellis says it's the best Australian team in 2 years. 288 caps, 108 more than New Zealand, but Mark, you did have Simon Poidevin in your side.
Well, that's right. It's very hard for any Australian selection panel to drop Simon Poidevin, but unfortunately that's the way it is. Australia picked a very fast side. Hopefully we'll see the likes of Campese and Burke and Papworth out wide receiving the ball. I think Orca is a linchpin, and hopefully the Australian tight 5 can lift their work rate and really stop the New Zealand forward momentum.
Yes, well, it was a very difficult World Cup campaign, Simon. The Australians were unsettled by injuries, and there were a lot of changes, but the Australian team has never been happier from what I've observed at training. They're very relaxed. Alan Jones is very relaxed, and they've trained the house down during the week.
It's certainly been a very happy side all year. We had a lot of disappointments during the World Cup, and certainly this week apparently has been very relaxed within training and at the hotels. That's been very good today.
Yes, well, New Zealand and Australia, they're arch rivals, oldest rivals too. The first test match played way back in 1903 at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Australia wore the light blue of New South Wales that day. Unfortunately, it went to New Zealand by 22 points to 3. But this is the Bledisloe Cup decider, a one-off match. And let's look back over the history of Australia-New Zealand contests. 30,000 at that very first game. And Australia didn't win, I think, until 1911, but they played 82 matches in all. New Zealand certainly on top with 4 matches drawn. Here's the haka. The referee this afternoon is the very popular Welshman from Swansea, Mr. Derek Bevan, 39 years of age. He was in charge of the 2 test matches in New Zealand last year, the first and second, and was involved in that controversial no try when Steve Tyman appeared to get the ball down. That's all history now. Australia won the Bledisloe Cup. They're defending it here at Concord on the 25th of July, 1987. And what a vast crowd here. The capacity is 20,000, but I'm willing to guess there's a few more people here this afternoon. The Bledisloe Cup showdown is underway for 1987. Grant Fox kicks off. The breeze blowing pretty well straight across the ground. No real advantage to either side. And the first little knock on there by New Zealand. Scrum 12 from halfway. Settling in period in these early scrums.
It's interesting to see the Australians facing the haka during that last few moments.
Campese, David Kirk, just running the ball into touch.
Well, that was a very good start by David Campese. Rather than putting the long ball down as he has in past games, he's put the little chip over and attempted to regather the ball, so he's already in a very positive frame of mind.
Lineouts will be crucial this afternoon. Australia has the height advantage through their towering lineout men in Campbell and Cutler. But there's the first one to New Zealand. Lost by them. Jeff Miller pilfers. And someone's being called out. 1.5 minutes of play. Hooker Sean Fitzpatrick scruffing the man around the neck.
Yeah, there was no doubt about it. I think it was David Cody was trying to get the ball back to see Fitzpatrick come straight over the top. Inversely, yep, Cody had David Cody.
Great work by Jeff Miller on plenty of that loose ball.
Yes, well, Bill Campbell also came round and managed to wrest that ball back for the Australians. And now Andrew Leeds, who's been thrust into the goal-kicking duties with the injury to Michael Liner. He was put out of action in the recent interstate clash here between New South Wales and Queensland. And now Andrew Leeds, who kicked so beautifully in New Zealand last year, the second leading point scorer with 77, has the chance to give first points to Australia. Not quite having the distance, and just out to the right.
Well, there you saw the difference of Andrew Leeds and Michael Liner already. Even though it was a very difficult kick, the pressure was on him, but still Michael Liner would have almost kicked that ball dead.
So now it's Grant Fox. He's regarded as probably the best goal kicker in international rugby. And there's Cutler taking the ball skillfully, but New Zealand forces Australia back. Here's the ruck ball. James, Hawker. There's the cutout, brilliantly taken by Leeds. Australia link up now. John Kirwan in there for the tackle. Australia going forward.
Great work by Leeds, standing up and hanging on to that ball. Kirwan usually sort of backstayed in there and wrestled him to the ground.
Brian Lahore, New Zealand's most capped number 8. Former All Black captain. His last test match as coach this afternoon. Michael Jones on the far side. He's the open side flanker for New Zealand. David Kirk opposed to Nick Farr-Jones. 30 metres out from the New Zealand goal line. Stephen James calling for it. Hawker's outside. Leeds couldn't hold on. Referee playing advantage. None going New Zealand's way.
Well, that was an unfortunate situation for Australia. Andrew Leeds hit that ball beautifully. It hit him straight in the stomach, but unfortunately just couldn't hold it. We'll look at it here. Again, a good cut-out pass by James. Hit Leeds right in the midsection, and, you know, he's really got to hold on to those balls.
Great credit to Michael Hawker there, cleaning the ball up before James got to it.
10-metre line, New Zealand territory. And there Australia caught offside. Nick Farr-Jones. So now Grant Fox taking play down into Australia's territory, coming off the side. Andrew Leeds. Good reply from the 22-year-old. And we're still inside Australia's territory. Well, Mark, we've had just 5 minutes of play, no score in the game, and nothing in it.
Well, it's been a very encouraging start by Australia. Normally, New Zealand have dominated all the sides they've played against in the World Cup right from the outset, so at least Australia stopped that momentum.
Tyman slipped it back, but Shelford came through and stole the ball. New Zealand set it up. Fox. Taylor's cut out. Here comes Gallagher. Campese in for the tackle on Taylor. Knock on by New Zealand. Australia's scrum. Solid defence there by Australia.
Well, it was good defence by the Australian backs, obviously drifting across. Brett Papworth came straight in and took Gallagher as soon as he received the ball.
James standing deep. Papworth. Campese. He's away. Lovely pass outside the Leeds. Australia making good ground.
Great steady scrum to begin from there, and the backs certainly are playing very well.
Alan Jones, very confident before this game. Australia determined not to take a backward step in attack or defence this afternoon. Jones at the back, brilliantly to Shelford. He crashes over the halfway line. The All Black forwards clear it to the backs. Green knocked on by Gallagher. Cody sets the ball up for Australia. And we go back for the knock-on.
And this is where New Zealand are most dangerous, when they just put that ball down and the big forwards really drive over the top. But it was a good break by New Zealand, and Gallagher again couldn't hold the pass.
New Zealand wheeling the Australian scrum. Jones grubbers beautifully. Play on, says the referee. Green appeared to knock the ball on. We'll have a line-out. Well, Craig Green, a prolific try scorer from Canterbury. 3 tries for Canterbury against Australia last year in New Zealand. And he scored 4 tries against Fiji in the World Cup. Lawton with a good throw. Well won by Bill Campbell. High ball from Hawker. Gallagher underneath. Australia arrive in numbers. Lost ahead by the men in goal.
Well, this is brilliant play by the Australian inside centre, Michael Hawker, obviously calling all the shots to cut out passes, decides to put the high ball up to really test Gallagher. Unfortunately, Brett Papworth coming through just spilled the ball as it was falling to the ground.
Grant Fox inside his 22. Spiral torpedo punt kick. 35-metre gain. Grant Fox taking play into Australia's half. No score so far. We've had 7.5 minutes of play in this one-off test match between Australia and New Zealand at Concord. The match being televised all over mainland Australia. It's also going live to New Zealand. Steve Cutler brilliantly. James, Hawker. Off the side. Here comes Campese. Gallagher wrapped up. And also he's been slammed into the boarding. And he looks as though he may have been knocked unconscious.
Well, David Campese obviously very pumped up, just followed through a little bit too far with that tackle, and yes, Gallagher's head went straight into the awning.
Well, it was round about this spot in 1984 that Matthew Burke put John Kirwan out of the All Black tour. This is John Gallagher, the All Black fullback. Derek Bevan telling him to take his time.
It looks like a bit of play acting there. I don't think he was hit that screen too hard. Certainly the scrum battle so far has been very, very even, and the line-out, Cutler's getting great ball. Jones is getting very good ball at the back for New Zealand, so we've got to watch that.
Just saying there to the referee, you may have heard it, that he didn't really hit his head. He's okay. He's Frano Botica, one of the reserve backs. He played all 3 tests against Australia and New Zealand last year. Lovely take by Campbell. Here's Hawker again, running hard and straight. Cody charging in, bumped off Shelford. Australia set it up. Stephen James dropped again by Leeds. 2 handling errors by the fullback in the first 8 minutes. New Zealand in control just outside their 22.
Well, it's been a very uncharacteristic start by Andrew Leeds. Normally one of Australia's coolest and safest players. He's coming to the back line on 2 or 3 occasions and dropped fairly easy passes. Australia must keep that momentum going by holding onto the ball.
This is the biggest crowd Concord Oval's ever seen. Eventually it will carry double this capacity. 40,000 expected to be completed by the start of the 1989 season. Coming in on the wrong side there, Australia. And it's Enrique Rodriguez, the prop forward, recalled to the Australian team, penalised just outside the 22.
Well, I don't think the Australians have been too perturbed about this. They've, through Cutler and Campbell, they've been winning all the line-outs so far.
4-2. A 2-1 margin for Australia in the line-outs.
Very good work at the back of the scrum by Australia. They really put Shelford back across the advantage line. So they've got to do all day if they're going to stop this all-back drive.
Cutler, 2-handed take. That was Campbell. Hawker. Here comes Campese. Weaving apart. Now linking brilliantly with Burke. Kick out on the full. It all stemmed from a brilliant 2-handed catch by Dr. Bill Campbell. Nothing in that.
Well, there was no need for Fitzpatrick to come across there. It was obvious that Kirk took Campese out, and I don't know why Fitzpatrick had to come in. But it was a great play. David Campese came in, weaved his way through the All Black pack, and realised that Burke was coming up with just a little over-the-head pass. Burke hit it at 100 miles an hour, and we'll look at this incident here. Kirk took him out, and there was no need for Fitzpatrick to come in at all.
It's great covering by Kirk.
Fitzpatrick with the throw. Cutler managed to get a hand to it. Lawton tried to paddle it back. It's been lost ahead by Australia. Well, it's a furious struggle in the forwards at the moment. Some crunching defence. 10 minutes gone. Still no score. New Zealand, the World Cup champions. Australia finishing 4th after being surprisingly eliminated here by France in the dying seconds in the semi-final. Kirk, straight up. Burke goes high. Tapped back brilliantly by Warwick Taylor. He's a specialist at that. Now Fox looking for the touchline. Lovely kick. Andrew Leeds. Nice break by the fullback. Cool as you like. Here's Gallagher. Topo's underneath. Campisi comes in. New Zealand now in possession. 10 metres out. Solid defence there by Australia. Jones. Driven back in the tackle. Australia in trouble. And there's the penalty. Again coming in on the wrong side.
What great play, and I think this crunching tackle, I think it was Andrew Leeds, really followed through and made sure that that All Black play stopped. But this is where New Zealand again are so dangerous, and the penalty was, I think, for Bill Campbell coming through offside.
Certainly was great tackling. Leeds and Hawker down below. They put Jones back down there, and also I thought the Australians did well to drive over that ball. Certainly it saved a try.
Yes, at one stage there, the New Zealand prop, Steve McDowell, looked as though he'd run into a solid brick wall as he charged into the Australian forwards, just 10 metres out.
It's very unfortunate. Campisi took that ball very well, but just lost at the last moment there.
So now it's Grant Fox. He's now succeeded Michael Liner as the most prolific point scorer in Test match football. This is his 8th Test match, and he's averaging over 18 points per international. "13 minutes gone. Fox looking for first points for the All Blacks. It's there. The big crowd erupts. And first blood to New Zealand. Andrew Leeds missing with his first attempt.
Well, that's unfortunate for Australia. They've virtually made all the play in this first 14-15 minutes, and yet the All Blacks, first time they get in Australia's territory, put on the drive. Australia, unfortunately, give away a penalty, and with a guy like Fox, the rest is history.
There's Hawker looking for Campisi, through on Taylor. It's Stanley who made a real hash of that. Well, Joe Stanley seemed to be caught unawares.
Well, I was thinking he was already looking at where he was going to place that ball or the support play coming to him, and there's no excuses in international rugby that players drop balls like that.
Solid Australian scrum. Here's Hawker again. He slipped the pass away. It was knocked back. Play on, says the referee. This is Papworth. Par Jones to Campisi. They're going backwards. But that certainly adds a bit of sanity to proceedings. Gallagher finding touch just on Australia's side. New Zealand leading by 3 points to 0. Just the one penalty goal to Grant Fox. We've had 15 minutes of play in the first half. It's been a very lively first quarter hour. But Australia losing possession on a few occasions. Big drive at the front. Lovely ball for New Zealand. Jones, Shelford, the back row in concert. Fox, Taylor, running at the Australians inside. McDowell. Again, Australia holding on. Here it comes. Fox, field goal. He's missed it on the left. Let off for Australia.
Well, it's great driving work by New Zealanders. Jones taking the ball up, followed by Shelford. We've really got to counter that if we're going to win this Test match.
Well, what I think Australia have to do very, very early is try and get to the likes of Shelford and Jones and put them on the deck with low tackles, or at least try and can hold that ball or stop the ball from being passed from man to man.
Well, the Australian camp certainly wouldn't be happy being down 3 points, especially after enjoying the territorial advantage and the majority of possession. But Wayne Shelford has been prominent with his driving play from number 8, low body height, thumping into the Australian defence. Hawker with the dropouts. Murray Pearce. McDowell. New Zealand specialists in the rolling maul. They pushed Australia back 5. Expert control here. Here's Michael Jones with the ball. And Steve Tyman came in offside.
That was a fair enough penalty too. The All Blacks really had the Australian pack under pressure there. Jones was hiding the ball at the back. Unfortunately, Steve fringed round on the side, and there's a penalty in kickable distance.
So now Grant Fox with a chance to make it 6-0. And Alan Jones made the comment of Grant Fox that he would win the World Cup for New Zealand. Well, he didn't quite do that, but he certainly had a big influence. 17 points in the World Cup final. The Fox phenomenon. When he gets back to the end of his run, he has special breathing exercises where he expires 4 breaths. And the idea being to get rid of all the tension from his body. And he releases it out through his fingers. He also has one further step back just before he approaches the ball. 2 to the left. Now expiring the breaths. He's missed it. Swinging away. So Fox has missed with a pot and a penalty attempt, and it's New Zealand still ahead. 17 minutes gone by 3-0. There's Hawker, a man of vast experience. His 25th test. Well taken by Gallagher. Hawker the tackler. John Kirwan with his first touch. Forward pass.
Well, that was intelligent play from Michael Hawke. Instead of doing the short drop out as he had shown before, he decided to put the ball well and truly out of Australia's territory, well and truly out of range of Grant Fox, and that's what we've got to do.
Bar Jones working that short side cleverly. He's found space. Look at the bounce. Fox is caught. Tyman's there. So is Campese. 8 metres out. Hand in the ruck.
Great work by Campese and Tyman, especially Tyman. Put him on the ground.
Andrew Leeds coming up for another shot, but here it is.
It was great work from the Australian forward pack. David Campese started it off, but they were just coming over the top from everywhere, and it was an All Black arm that gave away that penalty.
Mark's made a very important point earlier on that Australia's played most of the game in New Zealand territory. New Zealand has only been out here twice, and it's been a very good performance so far.
Well, this is a critical kick for Andrew Leeds and Australia. He didn't really strike that first one too well, but this is closer. 15 metres in from touch. Flags are up. Even Stevens. 19 minutes gone, first half. Well, what a contest in prospect this afternoon. Arguably the 2 best sides in international rugby. Australia out to prove a point after the World Cup. New Zealand with all the pressure on them this afternoon because they are the world champions. And they desperately want to preserve that record for their vast army of supporters back home. There's Wayne Shelford again. Kirk. Michael Jones slips it back brilliantly. David Kirk's found a gap. Beautiful tackle by Lawton. He picks up the ball now. And the referee has found a knock-on. So we've had exactly 20 minutes of play with his injury, and Australia has had 60% of the territory in that first quarter of the game.
Tommy Lawton may have missed Serge Blanco in the French game, but he certainly got David Kirk in a great tackle.
Well, it was good work again by the All Black pack. David Kirk threw a beautiful little dummy, went straight through, and Tommy Lawton coming across in cover really picked him up, and I think it's Kirk who was down now again with that troublesome knee injury, but I can't understand how he knocked that ball on. Apparently referee Bevan ruled that, well, adjudicated that the Australian player knocked the ball on.
New Zealand are using Michael Jones very well off the side of the rucks and mauls here. Kirk's feeding him, he's getting over the advantage line, and they're feeding off that again.
I think the referee has ruled accidentally offside, but there's the Canterbury halfback Bruce Deans.
I see Kirk's hurt this knee that he's been complaining about lately, and certainly Deans is an extremely good player and unlucky not to be in this all-back side.
Yes, the ruling there was the ball was accidentally kicked onto the own man by Australia. So accidentally offside. New Zealand with the scrum, 22-metre line. David Kirk is up and ready to feed. Gallagher's coming in on the right. They've gone left. Fox. Craig Green. Barrelled in the tackle. Far Jones kicks ahead. Gallagher in the last line. Far Jones the tackler. Shelford back there in support. Strong driving play from the Australians. Here it comes. Cutler clears. Quick hands. Line here for Australia, and Burt couldn't hold on.
Forward sensational play from the Australian side. Backs and forwards alike. Nick Far Jones followed through that kick. It was great work. Unfortunately, Steve Cutler got in the way, but it was just quick hands that the Australian back line needed, and this is where the pass went astray. A little bit forward. Unfortunately, Matthew Burke just couldn't hold on to it.
John Gallagher, short side. He's found some space. Andrew Leeds. Well taken. Good tackle by Kirwan. Burke's wrapped up by Jones and Alan Wetton. Strong defence by New Zealand. Australia come away. Hawker. Big kick downfield. Who's calling for it? Green. Capisi the tackler. 25 metres out.
Well, Michael Hawker's had an absolute blinder here today. He's tackling sensational, and his tactical kicking's also superb.
Well, I've also never seen David Campese so eager. He's really chasing that ball. He's made every single tackle. He's right on the spot, and you know, hasn't missed an opportunity.
Four-man line out. Well won by Murray Pearce. Fox steadies and finds touch 35 metres out. So 22 minutes gone in the first half.
I think the Australian line-out just then were a little bit too lax. That ball was knocked down. It rolled gently back to Fox. We should have had the players particularly pressuring Fox all the time.
Murray Pearce spoilt the two-handed take by Campbell. Wetton cleared to Kirk. Look at the defence by Australia. Now it's Steve McDowell wrestling strongly. Jeff Miller holding his momentum. Fox under pressure, straight up. They're all onside. No, they're not, says the referee. Within 10. Australia has the option of the scrum or the penalty, and they've got to go for the penalty surely. Andrew Leeds, another shot at goal. It's a long one though, 45 metres out.
Well, I don't know if he's going to make the distance or not. We saw in the very first couple of minutes that Andrew Leeds had an attempted goal, I think a little bit closer in than this, and just didn't quite make the distance. But certainly, if he hits that smooth action, he's capable of getting there, and for Australia's sake, I hope he does.
Simon, how have you analysed the two back rows so far?
Well, I think it's a fairly even contest so far. Certainly, Jones is having a very good game, but the Australian backs are tackling Jones very well, and the Australian back row must try and do that a bit more and really put him down. Let the Australian backs go out there and cover their own men.
So just 24 minutes gone. It's 3-3. Andrew Leeds, 45 metres out. He's got the distance this time, but not the accuracy. Back to the 22-metre line. Score remains locked at 3-all. Fox's kick taken by Cutler. He tapped it back to Rodriguez, the Rock of Gibraltar. Stephen James again to Hawker. Hawker's kick charts down, they're all onside. Gary Wetton went down on the loose ball and cleared it. Well, it looks as though Australia may have been caught offside there. The referee's playing advantage. None going New Zealand's way. Inside backs for Australia snuck up.
Looked like a fairly marginal one there for Mr. Bevan.
I think, as I said before, there's quite a number of Kiwis in this crowd, and I think it was more the vocal support from the sidelines that really persuaded Mr. Bevan to swing that penalty towards New Zealand.
Penalties 5-3, New Zealand's way. The All Blacks follow. What a take there by Andrew Leeds. New Zealand going over the top. Well, if there were cups for courage handed out, Andrew Leeds would win them by the ton. One of the best takes you could hope to see.
Well, it was interesting to see the option chosen by the All Blacks then to put the high ball up rather than try and find the yardage. But the Kiwis obviously scared of Australia's line-out dominance, and the only way New Zealand are looking good is when they get that forward momentum going. But we'll look here, a great take by Andrew Leeds. Craig Green straight over the top of him.
Certainly courageous stuff by Leeds, and certainly a few of the Australian players picked up a few Kiwi souvenirs there. I'm sure there'll be a few more at the end of the game.
Yes, that was the doormat experience. Leeds coming out on New Zealand's side. Rodriguez has hurt his hand in that incident too. Greg Craig, the Australian physiotherapist from the North Sydney Orthopaedic and Sports Medicine Centre.
It's been terrific to see so far. Stephen James has given the Australian backline a lot of room to move in, and especially Michael Hawker. Michael Hawker's got a lot of options out wide, and James, he's really been covered closely by Jones. And if they do that all day, it'll be great.
Yes, well, Mark, I know you made the comment that James had to underplay his game. He's certainly doing that to a nicety.
Well, firstly, what he had to do, Gordon, was just catch and pass the ball and then act as a support player.
Australia running the ball here from the tap. Far Jones into space. This is Papworth. Campese outside. Why didn't he pass? Australia drive in. Dear, oh dear, that was a wasted opportunity.
Well, I've said this about Brett Papworth all the time. He's one of Australia's most dynamic players. But we'll look here, Nick Farr-Jones goes straight through the gap, gives it to Papworth, and Australia must have 3 or 4 players all on the outside, but Papworth went the wrong way completely. He just got sandwiched between All Black players. There must have been Campese, Burke and Leeds all on his outside.
Well, this Michael Jones has certainly got a lot of pace. He picked Papworth up on the inside there with Gallagher. That really stopped that movement. Australia's doing the same thing that New Zealand did in 1985, where we ran from that tap kick and really made some ground.
Well, it's certainly a very tense contest. Just 1 penalty goal per side. John Gallagher is up okay. .30 metres out from the New Zealand goal line. Campbell at 2. Cutler at 4, opposed to Gary Wetton. Taken down, though. Alan Wetton at the back. Taylor. Campese herring back for it. Play on. Papworth picks up the crumbs and keeps the ball just in play. They're all onside. Gallagher jolted backwards. Campbell the tackler.
Again, fantastic play from the Australian side. When we look like we were in trouble, all we're doing is putting that ball up in the air in front of us. The forwards are coming through at 10,000 miles an hour. We'll see the ball go loose. Billy Campbell anticipated it beautifully and clobbered a New Zealand player, and it's great work by Australia.
Stephen James to Hawker. Here's the loop. Well, they're wrapped up there. Miller took it. Australia's lost 7 metres. Offside New Zealand. Going over the top. The hand came in. John Drake has been penalised. The tight head prop And this one right out in front of the goalposts, 35 metres out.
The Australian backline have tried to use that loop, or in that time a double scissors. What they've got to do is do that movement very, very quickly. At the moment, Michael Hawker has got the ball in his hands far too long.
That's exactly right, Mark, and being a back rower, they really are targeting Michael Hawke here today. If he gets the ball out wide, I think there'll be a few gaps there.
Stephen James is having some treatment now, just back near the halfway line. But some wonderful covering there too from Jeff Miller to save that situation.
Well, Stephen James has got a nasty gash just above the eye. It's very hard to say how bad it is because the eye tends to bleed a lot more than any other part of the body.
I think James will be right. Nothing getting him off this ground here today.
Well, I think Stephen James has had a very good settling period for the first 30 minutes, and now I think he should start to make his impact on the game, try and maybe do one or two things by himself now. Obviously, he's got the confidence and the team is going, or is playing very, very well.
Andrew Leeds' father, Rob, has come out to the game to watch his son this afternoon. His mother, Ilga, has stayed home with her knitting. And I think she might have just dropped a stitch. 6-3 to Australia, 2 penalty goals to Andrew Leeds.
Gordon, we're moving into the critical part of the game now, 10 minutes before half-time. We've really got to play the game down the Kiwi end of the ground and apply the pressure to them. Keep out of our half of the territory.
Certainly Australia has enjoyed the territorial advantage. 28 minutes gone. Australia ahead 6-3. No tries in the game, all penalty goals. 2 to Leeds, 1 to Fox. Campbell took it well and goes straight through the New Zealand pack. Australia ruck over. There's no halfback. Farr Jones went ahead there and got caught in the ruck. Shelford. New Zealand over the halfway line. This is where they do it so well, when they're able to go forward. And clearly there, the referee signalling a hand in the ruck by Australia.
If I was Australian coach Alan Jones, I'd be very, very satisfied with the first half performance by his forwards. They're really stopping New Zealand very, very well. And, you know, when the ball does get out to the backs, to Fox and Taylor and company, they don't look near as dangerous as the Australian backline, and that alone must be very encouraging.
A very unfortunate phase of play there. The Australian forwards extremely well, drove the ball up. We just lost control at the last minute, and certainly Shelford came away very well with the ball.
So Grant Fox now slanting the ball slightly forward. 45 metres out. Just that slight breeze against him. He won't have the distance, nowhere near it. Matthew Burke to Farr Jones. Hawker, bad pass. Ball was thrown forward. Well, the idea was good, but the execution was bad.
I think 10 minutes from half-time, I'd like to see that ball hammered back down this Kiwi into the ground. Out of our territory.
I must admit, I'm in total agreement with Simon Porter, and we know how dangerous Grant Fox is. We shouldn't muck around with only a few minutes to go. Get out of our own territory.
22-metre line.
We're looking for Kirwan and Gallagher to come down the sideline here.
They've gone the short side. Shelford away to Wetton. He's wrapped up by Miller. Ball comes back for New Zealand. McDowell. Gallagher. He's gone through 2 tackles. 10 metres out from the goal line. Cacophony of sound here from New Zealand supporters. Australia still leading 6-3.
It's got to be a good throw from Tommy Lawton. Really put it on the man he's throwing the ball to.
Wellington policeman Murray Pearce. He's at number 2. Opposed to Bill Campbell. Cutler got a hand to it. Cody swept. Australia gets the scrum feed. Touch and go, that one. Ball came out after the referee had blown his whistle. It's a good scrum from New Zealand. And Leeds clears very well under enormous pressure. Just outside the 22.
It was a great shot there by the Kiwis in that scrum. They really put the pressure on, but Leeds cleared the ball extremely well.
Rodriguez and McDowell opposed at the fronts. Michael Jones at the back, cleverly to Shelford, he couldn't handle. Alan Witten went down on the loose ball. Knock on by New Zealand.
I thought for a moment that Mr. Bevan might give a penalty against us for going over the top. I think he didn't.
8 minutes before half-time. Australia leading 6-3. Well, this time Michael Hawker decides on the right option, taking play up towards halfway. But that was pretty heated stuff there for the Australians.
Well, it certainly was, and you know, they've really got to try and clear from this situation as quick as possible and get it to the big boot of Michael Hawker or even Brett Papworth.
Yes, they've done extremely well to get that situation down there, and let's hope we'll get a bit further down the New Zealand end now.
Australia with 11 of the side that won the Bledisloe Cup at Eden Park. The New Zealand side has made 8 changes from their losing team. Jones at the back, cleverly to Shelford again. Alan Witten, again the New Zealand back row, sets it up for the forward packs. And now the backs. This is Kirwan. He's wrestled back. Australia there in numbers this time, but New Zealand with Kirk. Stanley. Desperate defence. 20 metres out. McDowell tries to weave his way through. 6 minutes before half-time. Fox. Long cut out to Gallagher. Hawker the tackler. Play on, says the referee. New Zealand not gaining any ground. Look at this defence. Back to Jones. Again, clever play from him. Fox. He's beaten 3 men. Green couldn't hold on. And the players almost coming to a standstill.
Well, that was unbelievable defence by the Australian side. In fact, when the ball did get out to Green, the other side of the field where the play originally started, there were more Australian players there than Kiwis. Australia were there in numbers and throwing their bodies into the tackles.
And one of those players was Andy McIntyre. What a great effort for front row to get across there.
Look at it, all starts on this side of the field. The Kiwis, David Kirk really looked to limp across the paddock then. But we'll just see when the ball again goes out wide.
Cutler again going in for the tackle. He was involved a couple of times. Stanley and Burke having a little bit of fun and games. This is Gallagher. But what's the Australian cover coming across here? Craig Green thumped to the ground.
Andy McIntyre there really wrestling with Craig Green, and you'll see the Australians then Matthew Burke, who was on the field wrestling with his opposite number, really coming in and making the tackles until Fox very cleverly kept that play going.
So Australia with the scrum feed.
Great pressure defence there by Australia.
Bar Jones just chipping over the top. Campese trying to fly that ball ahead. Bounce went against him. Delightful little chip over the top there by the Sydney University halfback. Player of the series against New Zealand last year, Nick Bar Jones. Ten-metre line, Australian territory, 5 minutes before half-time.
So Australia's got Cody at the back marking Jones now. He's been getting a few balls there today. They're really going to guard against that.
He really is spring-heeled, Michael Jones, former basketball player. Alan Witten got that one. And clearly a New Zealand scrum feed. Australia has the weight advantage in the scrums by 33 kilograms or 5 stone.
Smart work then by the Kiwis. They saw Alan Witten against Jeff Miller, threw it to Alan Witten. He's got a clean ball.
There's Michael Jones, number 7. He always plays on the open side of the scrum. Rated by Andy Hayden as the best ball-carrying forward in the last 20 years. And equal, potentially, to Ian Kirkpatrick. Kirk to Shelford. 2 of New Zealand's 7 aside stars. Australia can see it. Topa, look where he is. Looked as though he had a step ladder. It's coming out for Australia. Far Jones can see it. Here it comes. Offside. John Drake. Second time he's been penalised. 4 minutes from half-time.
Well, I don't know who got that ball back then. It was fantastic work, though. They got it off the ground and skirted back, and Mr. Bevan didn't see it.
Last man up was Steve Cutler. David Cody certainly leading his forwards by example. Huge kick by Hawker. His last test was against New Zealand here in Sydney in 1984. His first test on Australian soil was against New Zealand in 1980. He was only 20 years of age then, and he was the vice-captain, as he is today.
That's his last 5 minutes, his first half, a very critical time. Australia would love to score from here.
Cody got it. Lovely hands from James. Here's Pappy. Back it goes to Tyneman. And Australia this time going over the top. Not staying on their feet.
It's very hard in that situation to stay on your feet, but I think referee Bevan is saying that the Australian players actually were diving over the ball. And, you know, in a good attacking situation like that, it's crazy.
It was good little bit of work by Jeff Miller there, getting that ball and driving it forward. Here we are, half-time.
So there it is, Australia leading New Zealand by 6 points to 3 for Australia. 2 penalty goals to Andrew Leeds, and for New Zealand, a penalty goal to Grant Fox. And we'll quickly run through the statistics of that first half. In the lineouts, it was 8-7 in favour of New Zealand as the siren belatedly signals half-time. The penalties were 7-6 to New Zealand. Rucks and Mauls 14-7 to New Zealand. Interesting statistic, that one. And the errors, well, Australia made 6, New Zealand 9. So New Zealand letting themselves down there, but Australia getting 3 scrum feeds to 2. Grant Fox has kicked 1 from 3, and Andrew Leeds 2 from 4. Well, an absorbing first half, and with me, Simon Poitevin and Mark Yellow. We have 2 former Australian captains. Perhaps we might start with you, Mark. How do you see it?
Well, it's been a fantastic performance by the Australian side. So far above their performances in the World Cup, it's unbelievable. They're really taking it to the Kiwis. There's not mucking around. Whenever they look like they're in danger, they're just putting the high ball up, and they're getting there in numbers. They seem so hungry, and you know, it's just a magnificent performance. Stephen James is having a very solid game. I'd like to think that he could really, you know, do a little bit more now in his second half and use some more of those running skills. But it's a great performance. I think Australia can really win from here.
And Simon, I don't think I've seen better tackling than this in a test match. It has been absolutely unbelievable from both sides.
It has been a superb performance. Hawker's really leading the charge here in the tackling, and it's just stopping the Kiwis before they get the advantage line. I feel that Australia has done very well because they've come together as a side that's a bit of disrupted World Cup, obviously. This New Zealand side is a great team. They've showed it this year. And I think in the second half, the side with the better conditions is going to win this game.
Interesting move there by Australia, moving David Cody onto Michael Jones. As you made the comment, he's been pretty successful and fruitful at the end of the line-out.
Well, that's right. Jones has got a lot of ability at the back of the line-out, and they'll have to put their Cody there every time now. What we'll need to watch is Alan Whitman being thrown the ball and driving through there.
And there's Topo Rodriguez, recalled after being dropped for the game against Ireland, and his experience certainly showing in that first half.
Yes, Topo certainly making the most of his return here today. He's got a lot of determination.
So David Cody really laying the law down here. It's a very pumped up Australian forward pack this afternoon against this great New Zealand side. It's rated the best All Black side in 20 years by many of the past greats over in New Zealand. Potentially they're a great side. Perhaps they're not there yet. But if Australia can come out trumps today, well, that changes everything, doesn't it? 6-3, half-time score. 2 penalty goals to Andrew Leeds, 1 to Grant Fox, and Fox mark missing with a couple, certainly one that we thought he would normally kick.
Well, that's right, and I think Australia are most dangerous when they really throw the ball in their back line. The Kiwis are a good side. I doubt to see if they're a great side, and this is one attacking play by the Australian side that may have resulted in a little bit more if Brett Papworth pegged his ears back and really ran, but he had 4 outside supporters, always tends to beat people on the inside. On this occasion, chose the wrong option, and it was just an unfortunate situation for Australia, but certainly the Australian backs, the forwards are doing everything correctly. If they can get it out to the backs, that's where the difference will come.
Well,
yes, well, we still have about a minute and a half before play resumes. The All Blacks are already back in position, but yes, how do you see the second half from Australia's point of view, Simon?
Well, this Australian side went through so much hard work through the muck in New Zealand last year, winning Bledisloe Cup. They'll be out there really determined to keep it with them.
Okay, so we have about less than a minute before the second half gets underway, but one statistic that probably says most in that first half: Australia had the territorial advantage by 65%. They spent 65% of the time in New Zealand's half. So we're just waiting for the start and the whistle from referee Mr. Derek Bevan. Away we go. Australia 3 points in front. David Kirk back to Fox, his Auckland teammate. And 10 Aucklanders in the All Black side this afternoon. That's a record. And remember that Wayne Shelford also lives in Auckland but plays with the North Harbour, the breakaway union. So really 11 Aucklanders in the All Black side this afternoon. Far Jones beating 3 tacklers. This is Cutler. He received the pass from Campbell. James looking for that touchline. John Kirwan hasn't seen much of the ball, and here comes Matt Berg. Those two have had a running battle over the years, but no confrontation that time.
There's a bit of a verbal confrontation there, Alfred Gordon.
Good ball for Far Jones. James, Hawker. Field goal attempts. Hawker's kicked his 3rd field goal in Test matches, and Australia 6 ahead.
Well, that's just what Australia needed, particularly in the first couple of minutes of this second half. And Michael Hawker recalled back into this side, one of the most experienced players of Test rugby. Didn't hesitate, just settled himself and put it straight between the posts. Great work.
Great thinking by Hawker. The New Zealanders would have been looking for Cody and Millaby taking that ball through, and Michael Hawker had some room to kick that goal.
I think it's interesting, worth noting that John Kirwan, the All Black wingers, hardly touched the ball, and I think that's an indication to how well Australia have played.
Yes, well, there's Michael Hawker. As we know, he retired at the end of 1985. He's been something of a thrill seeker while not playing football, because he's taken to parachute jumping. He's had 2 of those from Winton, and also he has 25 hours up towards his pilot's license. But it's all rugby in 1987, and Michael Hawker, decision there of a champion.
Well,
6-point lead.
If Australia wins this today, it'll be a bigger thrill for Michael Hawker than jumping out of a plane, I think.
Sean Fitzpatrick. His father, B.V.G. Fitzpatrick, toured Australia in 1951 as an inside centre, but says that Sean is faster than he was. And that says something for the mobility of forwards these days. Cutler tapped it back to Tyneman. Tap forward New Zealand. Brian Lahore's record stands at 13 wins, 3 losses and 1 draw. Tight head to New Zealand. Held at the back by Shelford. Fox. Gary Owen for Andrew Leeds. His Taylor, the specialist. Taken well by Cutler. Miller supports. Australia set it up, and here they go, but the pass was a bad one. This is Craig Green. Gee, Australia's defence is thin, but a foot into touch.
And I'm sure Australia would have run that ball out. They really wanted to do that. Unfortunately, the pass went behind the backs.
Yes, Australia looking to run it very quickly from the broken play.
The steam coming out of Tommy Lawton's ears after losing that tight end. He hates doing that.
Obstruction. Pulling the man down. You may have heard the call from Australia. Sir! 18 metres out. Relieving penalty.
So it's fairly difficult for these New Zealanders to compete against the likes of Campbell and Cutler. They're so tall.
And that's why Australia must stay outside their own territory, make it desperate for New Zealand to try and get that ball, and I think as they just did then, they'll give away penalties through trying to jump over the top or create infringements.
It's good to see Mr. Bevan getting the line out spread apart here too, give the jumpers the chance.
He just told the Australian jumpers he didn't need any encouragement for obstruction. And there's a good one by Alan Wetton. Timon in there trying to spoil. Grant Fox. Haven't seen much of Taylor. Fox again. That's a beautiful kick. 15 metres out. That's the sort of kick we expect from Wally Lewis and Peter Sterling.
Well, great work originally by Alan Wetton, the liner, to really pick that ball down two hands and made a lot of room for New Zealand backs.
So it's a time now for the Australians to dig in. New Zealand making its challenge. Australia leads 9-3. 4 minutes elapsed second half. Taylor. Stanley. This is how New Zealand scored a try in the World Cup final. They worked the right side. He's a field goal attempt, charged down. Great work by Miller. Australia come out with it. Cody. He's lost it. Shelford. No, it's Wetton. Gary Wetton, the second rower. Busting through tackles. 5 metres out. New Zealand through Kirk. Fox. Lost by Taylor. Lost ahead by Warwick Taylor. 5 metres out.
Michael Hawker's done it again. It's a great tackle there on Taylor.
Again, fantastic defence by the Australian side. The All Blacks through David Kirk were going down that blind side. I think it was Hawker and Farr Jones, the Sydney University combination, came through and really clobbered Taylor.
It's a lot of credit to Jeff Miller for charging that drop kick down. Looked pretty good.
That, to me, indicates just the limited backline options available to the All Blacks. Taylor, in fact, decided to put that ball on his right foot. He's a left-footed by nature, and you know, he didn't have a chance of running inside the scrum.
Well, Concord Oval is the site of the third oldest settlement in Australia, formerly the Long Bottom Stockade. Nearly 200 years ago, it was the home for convict gangs, but I'd suggest there have been no prisoners taken this afternoon. The big heave from New Zealand. Farr Jones has it. Australia desperately trying to get this ball back. New Zealand have it. Cook! 4 metres from the goal line, and again a knock on by New Zealand.
It certainly is precious stuff there. That Kirk loves running that blind side. Thankfully, he found the whole thing bottled up.
Well, this is a moment of truth for Australia, most certainly. A try here would psychologically be devastating. New Zealand knows that. 6 minutes, second half gone. 9-3 the score, 3 penalty goals to 1. Australia has the lead.
Well, the crowd's calling for a heave here, the New Zealand component of the crowd, which is very large. I don't think they're going to shift this Australian scrum, though.
Farr Jones clears to Leeds on his left foot. And showing the aplomb of a veteran. Only 22 years of age. He's taken play 15 metres out.
is the danger spot. I hope they don't throw it to Alan Wetton, which I think if they're smart, they will do.
Gary Wetton got it. Number 5. Not in straight. So a scrum for Australia. And Sean Fitzpatrick, who is normally so accurate with those line-out throws, has made a mistake in a critical situation. Here's Leeds again, having to go to his left foot.
Smart work by Nick Farr-Jones. Henry got a quick feed in and we got the ball away before the New Zealanders put the shove on.
So we're just short of the 22-metre line. Alan Wetton again. Taylor throws the dummy. Hawker the tackler. Michael Jones. Loose pass. Craig Green. Campese got a kick in. Miller the tackler.
Fair enough decision that the Australian players were offside then, but it was pressure.
The only thing is, I thought the kick from Campese hit a New Zealander.
What the Australian team have got to do, even if that ball was lying inches from the sideline, and I know David Campese tried to pick it up and kick it out, but they're better off just killing play at all. They got the line-out advantage. Just stop the New Zealand momentum by putting the ball into touch.
It certainly wasn't very courageous flicking the ball back in field. That nearly paid off.
Vital kick for Grant Fox. Nine minutes gone in the second half. He's kicked 1 out of 3. This one only 5 metres in from touch. It's good. 3 points the difference. Australia 9, New Zealand 6.
He doesn't miss many, does he, Mark? I'll assassinate him soon.
Well, he's one of the world's greatest kickers, and he doesn't need too many opportunities. So what Australia have got to do, as I've said all along, try and get out of their territory, even if they've got to kick their way out, rather than camping in and trying to run her out.
It certainly has been an epic struggle. All penalty goals so far. Plus the field goal by Michael Hawker.
Australia's up to the short line out here again with both Cody and Miller out the backs.
Cutler got it to Farr-Jones. It may be too deep. Who wants it? Gallagher! Back to the 22.
Well, it was good play by Nick Farr-Jones, but it was a little bit unfortunate. That kick went a little bit deeper than anticipated.
Leeds in good position here. Hawker supporting. Leeds still going.
Great kick.
Gallagher again in the action and gets the mark. John Gallagher, a true rugby multinational, Irish parentage, English upbringing, and now some Kiwi polish to finish.
Tommy Lawton's much more enthusiastic today than he was during the World Cup. He's getting round the field. Sensational.
I agree with you, Simon. I also think during the World Cup, Tommy Lawton was far too loose. We haven't seen him hanging around the fringes at all today. He's been right in there.
Bill Campbell at the back. Hawker. Here comes Burke. Papworth. That's a good kick, left-footed across field, inside the 22.
And I still think the Australian backs look far more dangerous than their New Zealand counterparts. They've got to get it out to the Papworth and Burke coming in there as a decoy runner and out to Campuzzi all the time.
Well, it's a fantastic atmosphere here at Concord. You'd almost think you were at Eaton Park. Over 20,000 people roaring themselves hoarse. And the bulk of that roaring coming from Kiwis. Lovely clearance by Far Jones. Porco, his kick charge down. James back there. Leeds. Clever play there by Stephen James. But that kick is out on the full.
Well, it was good work by Stephen James. Unfortunately, Andrew Leeds just couldn't angle that kick correctly. But still, it takes the pressure off Australia.
Surprising New Zealand have opted for the short line out here.
It's Pearce and Alan Wetton. Gary Wetton's at half-back. Gary Wetton took it. Coming through from half-back. What a break. Only the full-back to beat. Alan Wetton inside. Fitzpatrick. And the ball is knocked on.
Stephen James, try-saving tackle.
Well, it was good play by Stephen James to come across, but that attempted tackle by Rodriguez was ineffective, and good backing up by his brother Alan, and Stephen James coming across really saved Australia.
Well, if Australia had the first half territory, New Zealand's had the second. 13 minutes gone. Andy McIntyre, opposed to Steve McDowell. 6 times New Zealand judo champion on this side. There's a good scrum for Australia. And a beautiful kick there by the halfback. Sensational play.
Very good scrum, very good kick. Got themselves out of a very critical situation there.
The best part about the Australian scrum at the moment, even though New Zealand are twisting and turning the Australian 8, they're keeping together, they're nice and tight and still controlling that ball.
Steve Tyman moving into number 2. He's now marking Murray Pearce. Jones and Cody right up the back. Far Jones got that one away well. But Michael Jones has spoiled. This is Pearce. Fitzpatrick! And Sean Fitzpatrick has scored the try that has put New Zealand in the lead. He's also scored his first try in Test match football.
Well, that try came from nothing. Australia should have cleared that ball. We'll look here, and again, we talked about it earlier. I think, Simon, when we said that we shouldn't really try and do impossible things, Stephen James tried to put that ball in the touch. Unfortunately, it didn't. I think it was Murray Pearce who got it. Steve McDowell. Fitzpatrick really took it in that corner and scored the try.
Yeah, certainly great work by Jones there, pressuring Stephen James. And Alan Wetton here picking the ball up, and that was Pearce. Fed on to Fitzpatrick, and a great charge to the line. Papworth just a little bit too late.
So New Zealand now leading by a point. Conversion to come from touch.
I'd hate to think the Australian forwards are weakening, because in the last 2 or 3 minutes we've seen a big bust by Gary Wetton, and again the second row is joining the hooker in scoring that try.
Yeah, there's been a bit of quietness in the tackling close to the ruck. They've really had to clean that up and knock these guys down as in the first half.
Fox has put that one out to the left. Crowd confirmed at the capacity of 20,000. And amazingly, in test matches between Australia and New Zealand, 4 of the last 5 have had a difference of 1 point. That's the situation at the moment. 10-9 to New Zealand.
It's a good day to find out that the New Zealand goal kicker is human.
Kick out on the full.
Well, a bad mistake by Michael Hawker. again, putting New Zealand in box seat. They've got the put in, they've got both sides of the field to work on. I don't think they'll try too much except putting that ball back in again into Australian territory.
That's exactly right. The pressure's coming on now, and they really work the ball down to these corners. The Australian scrum here, Tommy Lawton, be calling from the crabbit across the field to try and settle the New Zealand front row.
Another good New Zealand scrum, Shelford to Kirk. Charge down, Papworth! Brett Papworth, chased by Jones, it's a try!
Sensational!
Little Brett Papworth has intercepted and dashed 45 metres, and Australia is back in the lead.
I thought Michael Jones had him for a moment there, but he really got away from him.
Well, the Australian crowds are going berserk. You can probably hear him in the background. David Kirk just tried to do a little bit too much. Kicked it right into Brett Papworth. The little centre picked it up and really sped it away. Michael Jones, one of the fastest players on the field, just couldn't keep up with him. A fantastic reply by Australia.
Well, these Australians are doing a great job of really silencing their critics. Great work by Papworth here. Jones really was closing on him, but he got away from him.
And also he's made some valuable ground towards the posts. If Leeds can slot this one through, he can give Brett Papworth an extra pat. No goal. It's still a cliffhanger here. One try apiece. But at the moment it's that field goal, the difference, 13 points to 10.
It's a pity Leeds missed that. We really needed that kick, but I'll go on from here anyway.
Leeds has kicked 2 from 5. So too has Grant Fox, this man. 21 minutes to go. Steve Cutler did well, so did Rodriguez. Offside, New Zealand. Well, fine combination there by the two New South Welshmen. Cutler from the kickoff and Topo Rodriguez, who came down to take the deflection.
Well, actually, I thought it was Cody who took the ball up there, and he did very well. He really took it into the New Zealanders so they couldn't get the ball back. He's got a few souvenirs for it, but that wouldn't worry Coates.
So while we have this injury break, I know Mark Ella has one very anxious wife, no doubt, up on Daydream Island watching this telecast.
That's right, Gordon. She's up there with a very good friend of ours, Cindy Reinhardt, hopefully sunning themselves and enjoying today's rugby.
I'm sure people all over Australia are enjoying this today. It's a great game.
So a fine kick too, finding touch just outside the 22. And my apologies to David Cody, taking that credit away from him. But now the Australians back down towards the danger zone as far as New Zealand's concerned. 13 points to 10. That try, the charge down by Papworth, has really seen the Wallabies with their tails up. They've lifted their game. Well, instruction in the line-out. Number 5. Bill Campbell has been penalised. Grant Fox. That's quite a big kick. Kerry Fitzgerald, touch judge on this side.
Bill Campbell
7 metres.
Bill Campbell very disappointed about that. Australia really had the pressure on, and they're back down to halfway now.
New Zealand having the territorial advantage in the third quarter by 60% to 40.
New Zealand did the same thing to Australia and got away with it. It's a bit unusual.
Well, there's Drake trying to work through. The Australians saw him coming. Grant Fox following. He's found some space. Oh, no one wanted it. Leeds in trouble. New Zealand trying to rug it back. Fox. Burke goes back for it. Oh! Hurried kick there by Far Jones. The tackle was late. Penalty Australia.
He's got him for the elbow. It's fair enough too.
elbow it was. Well, this was pretty close. We'll see Matthew Burke pick that ball up and throw it to Leeds, and I think it was Taylor and Wetton came straight through. I don't think there was much in it, but it certainly was a little bit late. May have been a swinging arm. Yes, I think Wetton went in there, didn't make connection, but not to matter.
Australia hasn't found touch. This is Kirwan. His kick's gone to centre field. Leeds. Running back up towards halfway, Campese. Lovely work by Campese. Pressure here for Grant Fox. He was a roll the mark, but he was moving.
He's moving down the red of knots. I don't think we got away with that.
Well, I think the referee was very, very generous in his ruling on this occasion. Grant Fox, in my opinion, was definitely just shuffling backwards, and no way in the world was he stable when he took that ball.
Well, the law clearly states you have to be stationary with both feet on the ground. Was he?
No, there's no way in the world Grant Fox deserved to have that mark awarded to him.
Good to see Campo getting around smoking Jay down the sideline there. He's got to do more of that.
Campbell at the front. Hawker. James follows. The Australians storming through. Well, that was a fair mark. Craig Green getting into a huddle. But New Zealand under siege at the moment. Wayne Shelford. Green slips the ball back. Gallagher, this is Kirwan. He's in trouble. And Australia's been ruled offside.
Yeah, I think that was New Zealand looking for that quick penalty from that tap. They certainly got it.
Fox is certainly looking for territory here. Campese back for it. All the time in the world. Gallagher, 15 from halfway. Australians are onside. Miller the tackler. Cutler the tackler. Into touch.
Well, Campo's got to put those balls out. We can't have that game played down here.
Well, it was good work by the all-back fullback, realising that he had plenty of room to move. Went down that sideline, beat the tackle of Miller, and it really wasn't until Cutler, the long arms of Cutler, put him in the touch.
Well, what a titanic struggle, and what a day Bill Campbell's had at the front. Australia not able to take advantage. McDowell goes ahead like a bulldozer. Now it's Jones. He's through one tackle. 30 metres out. Kirk has it. Stanley. Taylor loops. Gallagher. Back to Taylor. Kirwan's outside. John Kirwan. Great try. Australia's defence just not there, and St John has scored his 12th try in Test match football.
Well, you've got to congratulate the New Zealand back line then. This is the first time they've really thrown that ball wide, and boy, they didn't make any mistakes at all. A good switch of play here. I thought originally Taylor was going to get the ball on the loop, but really it left Taylor free to take that reverse pass from Gallagher, and once that man Kirwan got the ball, unfortunately Burke couldn't keep up with him. A brilliant try.
Yes, people really underestimate Warwick Taylor. He's a great player. You see here, he makes a lot of room for Kirwan. He almost could have scored it himself, but he threw it out wide. Very unselfish.
And that was just a contest between sheer pace between Burke and Kirwan, and unfortunately Burke just couldn't keep with him.
So now Grant Fox desperately needing this conversion for his country. 1 point the difference. It's going to be an agonising last 15 minutes. New Zealand back in the lead. He's missed it. Well, is it going to be another one of those one-pointers?
As long as the 1 point's Australia's way, Gordon.
And we'll just see how good work it is from Taylor. The ball went straight to Gallagher, leaving Taylor available to take the outside pass. Kirwan got the ball. Burke couldn't keep up with him, and a good try to New Zealand.
Murray Pearce. New Zealand taking the ball well from the kickoff. Now try to work it forward. They certainly gained a few metres. Make that 6. Shelford at the back, number 8. Clearly in full control. Jones, number 7. They've gained 10 metres. And Australia getting frustrated, collapsing it.
Penalised Jeff Miller for coming in underneath there and collapsing it down. Simply the convincing New Zealand players before he gave it that.
Well, that was beautiful work by the New Zealand number 8, Shelford, at that ball at the back of that ruck. Waited until one or two of his forwards came around and then drove on again.
Not in touch. Leeds underneath. Bar Jones back there with him. Andrew Leeds caught. Miller's there mauling it back. Forwards coming out. And New Zealand has the scrum feed. It looks as though we may have a couple of injuries here. It's a time for deep breaths for both sides, especially the Australians, because they're back on their heels, trailing by a point. 14-13 New Zealand. 13 minutes to go in this Bledisloe Cup decider.
This is where a bit of hesitation from Andrew Leeds really put Australia under pressure. There was support going on the outside. He firstly looked on the inside. I didn't think he went through wholeheartedly and was subsequently caught, and this is the result.
Well, Andrew Leeds very lucky not to be penalised there. He was hanging onto that ball for dear life.
You've got to give credit to the New Zealand defence then, especially Shelford. They really drove Leeds back and got that ball back their side.
Yes, it was a thunderous tackle by Wayne Shelford. But now it's a scrum for New Zealand. 1 point the difference.
I wouldn't be surprised if we have Fox going for a field goal here.
Jeff Miller's already charged one down. Wheeled by the Australians. Kirk gets it away. Fox chipping ahead. This is dangerous. Leeds. 8 metres out.
Well, I must admit, I'll be a lot more comfortable in the commentary position. In that position, Leeds just put the ball dead into touch. I know, these young players are looking for the opportunities to make a gap, but when the New Zealand forwards are tearing through, you're better off killing play completely.
Well, that's an extraordinary penalty.
There's been an infringement by Australia. The referee has signified stomping the prop against Rodriguez, infringing on Steve McDowell. Now, you may have seen that at home. We didn't. But it's a shot for Grant Fox. With 13 minutes to go, could quite easily seal this game for New Zealand. But still, there is a long way remaining.
Well, these two men are big, tough front rowers. I don't think a bit of stomping in the feet's going to hurt anyone.
Well, we have the incident. We'll have a look at it again, and
what
Simon Foyderman will comment.
What Tupper sometimes does is put the foot on the opposing player's foot to try and keep him there, but Mr. Bevan said it otherwise.
This to give New Zealand a 4-point lead. Fox, 2 out of 6. But this is handy. No bother. Big effort now for Australia to come back.
It's very difficult to see such a physical game worth 3 points.
I don't know what Topper was trying to do then, but maybe he was trying to move McDowell further across and leave that gap down the middle of that line out clear.
Yeah, he might have a bit of a Bavarian dancer in him too.
Stanley and Craig Green wrapped up by Campese. Papworth assisting. Knock on by New Zealand. Well, the players haven't heard the whistle.
Great pressure from Miller and Timon working there, getting that ball back. Almost got it back to Australia before the whistle went.
17-13 to New Zealand. Australia the holders of the Bledisloe Cup. Jones was offside. The referee's playing advantage. No advantage. Penalty to Australia. Number 7, Michael Jones penalised.
And this really is pressure for Andrew Leeds, but he's done it before in New Zealand. I'm sure he can do it now. He's got the temperament to do it.
10.5 minutes to go. What a torrid struggle it's been.
It's been a fantastic test match. I think it's just about at everything. The forward clashes up front, some great movements by both sides, and just the intensity and the noise created by these 20,000 people here at Concord Oval is just unbelievable.
You know, certainly in the cold sweat here in the concrete box, and it's very, very difficult not being out there.
Andrew leads 38 metres out. Looks pretty good. Back to 1 point. So, fasten your safety belts. 10 minutes to go. New Zealand 17-16 with that magnificent trophy insured for $87,000 at stake. Solid silver. 56 years old. Made in Sheffield, England.
Well, we can't let it go out of the country with the trade deficit the way it is.
Yes, they say if it was melted down, it'd be worth only $15,000. Alan Wetton driven back by the Australians. New Zealand looking to control it. They have it. Fitzpatrick and Drake. Good work by them. Grant Fox. Oh, it's a very good Gary Owen. Here's Taylor again, the specialist. Leeds took it well. But again, Australia's under heavy pressure. Here it comes. Oh, terrible mix-up. Hawker and Campese.
And again, it was that man, Michael Jones, the New Zealand flanker, really clobbered Leeds when he took that ball.
I'm surprised Mr. Bevan didn't carry that on, because New Zealand had 3 men out here unmarked.
New Zealand has scored 2 tries to 1. Field goal attempts. It's there. Grant Fox gives New Zealand a 4-point lead.
Well, this was good work by the New Zealand 5 at all the time in the world. The Australian inside backs and flankers knew this was coming on. They broke as quick as they could. We'll see Miller and James really a little bit away from the ball, and an easy 3 points, putting New Zealand back to that 4-point lead.
Yeah, certainly Fox did very well. Miller was diving at the ball, but it's over between the posts.
Australia really having to dig into their depths of courage and character now. But Grant Fox has found touch 11 metres from halfway. Bruce Deans is still warming up.
Here we've got an injury here. It's Fitzpatrick, the hooker, who's gone out injured.
This is Richard Lowe, number 21. And I think he may well come on as a prop, and Steve McDowell, who's a former hooker, would go into that spot. So the Australian team trailing by 4 points. Can they pull it out of the fire?
Well, I think they can. It's only 20-16. We've got a bit of time, 8 minutes. Australia's won from here before. It's such an important game. I'm sure they'll be throwing everything into it to win it.
Australia needing a converted try to win the game. Cutler at the back. Rodriguez sweeping. Bar Jones. Papworth in on the short side. Kirk took it. Taken by Burke. John Drake is there. He's had a wonderful game for New Zealand. Australia trying to force New Zealand back, but there's the black power.
Very good work by Kirk to pick that ball up.
Oh, tremendous surge there from New Zealand's forwards. They found that extra bit of strength. Grueling stuff. Fox on his left foot. Hugging the touchline. And it's back to the 22. Should Leeds force it. Here's Hawker. And Australia really needing to play this ball right down the other end of the field, and Hawker realises that. Here's Gallagher. Following. New Zealand know they want to play it down in near Australia's goal line.
Well, New Zealand already are trying to close this game up. There's still at least 6 or 7 minutes to go, and I think they'd be better off trying to keep on playing their attacking football rather than playing percentages.
Well, the Australians trying something different here, bring the forwards across the opposite side of the ground. You might see a quick kick here.
So the scoreboard clock says there's 6 minutes to go.
There it is.
Remember, it went late. Here's Papworth. Back to Miller. Australia lost it. Into touch.
Get up,
Quick throw. Taken well by Pearce. Back to Gary Wetton. Australia's forwards were slow to get across there. Well, they say this is the fittest New Zealand team in history. Certainly they're finishing strongly. Kirk keeps the momentum going. McDowell. Driving defence from Australia. 5 minutes to go.
Well, that was magnificent work again by the New Zealand forwards. Quite intent on keeping it in nice and close. Kirk elected to go around that blind side, threw it back into Drake, and all they're doing is just playing this game nice and methodically without doing anything too exciting and controlling possession.
It's going to be so hard for the Australians now. They put in a huge effort here. A bit of tiredness showing on the other side. Let's hope in the last 5 minutes they can pull something out of the hat.
So still Richard Lowe and Bruce Dean's very keen to get out on the field.
Well, it's Matthew Burke over on the far side who really drove McDowell over the sideline.
Well, Australia haven't got many options now. They've got to really try and move this ball.
James, cut out pass to Leeds. He's lost it, and that's the Test match. The Bledisloe Cup returns across the Tasman. Desperate stakes from Australia, and the death blow has been landed.
Yes, it was desperate stuff, but Australia desperate to win here, so they had to do it.
Well, Australia tried to run the ball from their own 25. It was a double cut-out pass, and really one too many, I think, and landed straight in the arms of Craig Green to score the try. Australia really, all they needed to do was a double cut-out, have their players running nice and straight, rather than throwing the 2 cut-out passes from James cutting out both centres, going straight to their fullback.
Well, the New Zealand supporters have gone wild here at Concord. It's been a fantastic effort by New Zealand.
Well, look at this try again. James cuts out both centres. There was nothing wrong with just doing the double cut-out. That's from Papworth to the fullback, rather than James trying to cut out too many players on his own line.
You've got to credit that try to Joe Stanley. A sensational tackle there, ball and all.
So Craig Green scoring his first try of the game. New Zealand 3 tries to 1. 4 minutes to go. New Zealand's now out of sight, leading 26 points to 16. 10-point lead for them. But it really has been one heck of a Test match. Australia have had their chances. They just haven't quite been good enough on the day. The crowd asking the men in goal for one more effort. 3 minutes to go.
New Zealand robbed that ball, unfortunately.
And really, New Zealand's forwards have lifted a notch in the last 15 minutes. The hooker Fitzpatrick was through. So too was Warwick Taylor.
Well, Australia can't allow the Kiwis to score again, even though there's only a couple of minutes to go and the chances of winning are gone. They've got to keep on going.
By Jones. Kirwan. Matthew Burke and Kirwan.
Great work, Burke.
Leeds has lost it again. Advantage New Zealand. They're looking for their 4th try. Shelford. McDowell. 5 metres from the goal line. Here they go. Try now, Fitzpatrick. His second.
Well, there's plenty of room there on the blind side, and there was Fitzpatrick again getting across the line.
Well, this is just an awesome display by the New Zealand forwards. Really, they've just been driving up the middle all day, and it's taken at least 70 minutes before they've really got on top of Australia. Again, driving in, Miller and Cody have done magnificent jobs all day, but they just ran out of numbers. New Zealand coming through all day. Fitzpatrick out there on the wing scored a sensational try. Again, Australia may have tried to do too much. Leeds has had a little bit of problems holding those passes all day and really set up a golden opportunity to launch another Kiwi attack. Shelford and using the big men again, McDowell just driving through. Always the big men doing the hard work, coming through, and again propped to Hooker out on the wing. Great try.
Yes, it was John Drake, who's had a storming game for New Zealand. Number 3, the tight head prop, delivering the final pass.
Yeah, you've got to give it to the New Zealand forward pack. They're finishing on top.
Almost full time, 30-16. And that's the exact same score that Australia defeated New Zealand by at Eden Park in '78 in the third test. 30-16 when Greg Cornelsen scored his 4 tries. It's gone the other way here today. And New Zealand might even get another one here. The siren's gone. Cody's going back there. Oh, look out! No try. 22.
Mr. Bevan still apparently got some time left on his watch, so it's play on.
So the referee ignoring the siren. The kick going out on the full, and that's it. No side. The Bledisloe Cup has returned to New Zealand. The All Blacks really turning on their awesome power in the second half. They had 75% of the territory in that second term after Australia had 60% in the first half. But a fantastic effort here by the All Blacks. They've confirmed their status as the world champions, and they've done it in style here at Concord. 30 points to 16, 4 tries to 1. In the end, an emphatic victory. Mark Ella.
Well, I think as the Australian side stayed with the New Zealanders for 70 minutes in that game, but to all credit to the Kiwis, they stuck at it, they didn't change their game plan, they just worked up the middle and gradually wore Australia down. I don't think Australia were disgraced by any means. They played really good football, they were competitive throughout, and it wasn't until that last 5 or 10 minutes when the All Blacks finally got that drive going.
And he drops out at number 8. Julian